In the heart of southern Jordan, hidden among sandstone cliffs that glow red and gold in the shifting desert light, lies a city that feels like something out of legend. Carved directly into the rock, its facades rise as if grown from the cliffs themselves, towering columns, intricate statues, and monumental gateways that seem to whisper of gods and kings. This is Petra, the rose-red city, a place of astonishing beauty and enduring mystery. For centuries, Petra was lost to the outside world, its name spoken only in Bedouin tales. When European explorers finally stumbled upon it in the early 19th century, they could hardly believe what they saw. How could such a city exist, hidden in the desert, hewn entirely from stone? And even now, with archaeologists studying it for decades, Petra still holds secrets about its origins, its people, and its sudden decline. Petra was the capital of the Nabataeans, an ancient Arab people whose origins remain partly obscure. By the 4th century BC, they had settled in this remote valley, building a city unlike any other. The location was strategic, nestled among mountains, protected by sheer cliffs, and accessible only through narrow gorges like the Sikh, a winding passage barely wide enough for a pair of horses. This natural defense made Petra almost impenetrable to invaders, but more importantly, it sat at the crossroads of major trade routes. Frankincense, myrrh, spices, silk, and other goods flowed through Petra, enriching the Nabataeans beyond measure. Yet wealth alone cannot explain Petra. The Nabataeans were not simply traders, they were master engineers, architects, and artists. In a land of arid deserts and scarce water, they created an ingenious system of dams, channels, and cisterns that captured every drop of rain. This hydraulic mastery allowed Petra to flourish, sustaining tens of thousands of people in a place where cities should not exist. Water was life, and the Nabataeans made themselves its masters. As you walk through the Sikh, the narrow gorge that leads into the city, you begin to see how Petra reveals itself. The walls tower hundreds of feet above you, streaked with natural patterns of red, orange, and purple sandstone. Along the path, channels cut into the rock show where water once flowed, guided into reservoirs that fed the city. At the end of the gorge, the view suddenly explodes open, and there it is, Al-Khazne, the treasury. The treasury is Petra's most famous monument, its facade instantly recognizable around the world. Rising 130 feet high, it looks less like a carving and more like a temple built by gods. Corinthian columns, niches with statues, friezes depicting mythological figures, all cut from a single wall of sandstone. The details are delicate, almost fragile, and yet the scale is overwhelming. Scholars debate its original purpose. Was it a tomb for a Nabataean king? A temple dedicated to a deity? Or perhaps a treasury, as local legend insists, where gold was hidden within the central urn atop the facade? The truth remains uncertain, and the treasury is only the beginning. Walk deeper into Petra, and you find a city spread across a vast valley, with hundreds of tombs, temples, and dwellings carved into the cliffs. There is the street of facades, lined with elaborate tombs that rise like a stone necropolis. There is the great theatre, cut into the rock with space for thousands of spectators. There is the monastery, Aldea, larger than the treasury and perched high above the valley, reached only after climbing hundreds of stone steps. Each monument is more astonishing than the last, as though the Nabataeans were competing with themselves to see how much grandeur could be pulled from a mountain. But Petra was not only about death and monuments, it was a living city, bustling with markets, palaces, and temples. Archaeological excavations have uncovered evidence of houses, workshops, and public spaces, many of which were likely built in more perishable materials that have not survived. Pottery shards, inscriptions, and coins show a culture both cosmopolitan and distinct. The Nabataeans absorbed influences from Greece, Rome, Egypt, and Mesopotamia, blending them into a unique style. Their art shows Greek columns beside Mesopotamian motifs, Egyptian gods alongside Arabian traditions. Petra was not just a city of stone, it was a melting pot of civilizations. At its height, Petra may have housed 30,000 people, a remarkable number for such a remote location. Caravans arrived from all directions, bringing wealth and goods. The Nabataean kings grew rich, and their city reflected their power. Yet for all this prosperity, they left behind surprisingly few written records. Unlike the Egyptians or Mesopotamians, the Nabataeans did not inscribe their history in monumental texts. What we know of them comes from fragments, inscriptions, and accounts from outsiders like the Greeks and Romans. Much of their story remains a mystery, written not in words but in stone. One of the greatest puzzles is how Petra fell. By the 2nd century AD, the Roman Empire absorbed the Nabataean kingdom. Petra continued to thrive for a time under Roman rule, with new colonnaded streets and public buildings added in Roman style. But over the following centuries, the city declined. Trade routes shifted as seaports grew in importance, bypassing Petra's overland position. Earthquakes damaged its structures and water system. By the 7th century, Petra was largely abandoned. The desert reclaimed it, and outsiders forgot it ever existed. For centuries, only Bedouin tribes knew the location of Petra. They kept its secrets, telling stories of treasure hidden in the urn of the treasury, stories that discouraged strangers from looting. Then, in 1812, a Swiss explorer named Johann Ludwig Burckhardt disguised himself as an Arab pilgrim and convinced a guide to lead him to the lost city. When he walked through the Essek and saw the treasury, he was stunned. He knew he had rediscovered one of the wonders of the ancient world. Today, Petra is celebrated as one of the new 7 wonders of the world and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Yet for all the tourists who flock to see it, questions linger. How exactly did the Nabataeans carve such intricate monuments with hand tools alone? How did they organize the labor, the planning, and the design? And why did a people so advanced in engineering and artistry leave behind so little record of themselves? Some fringe theories go further, suggesting Petra's precision hints at lost technologies, or even influence from civilizations older than the Nabataeans. Mainstream archaeology dismisses such ideas, pointing instead to human ingenuity, patience, and craftsmanship. But standing before the treasury, with its perfect symmetry and delicate carvings, it is easy to feel that something greater than ordinary skill must have been at work. The aura of mystery remains, because Petra seems to exceed what we expect from its time. There are also spiritual questions. The alignment of some monuments with celestial events suggests the Nabataeans may have used Petra as an observatory as well as a city. The monastery's massive courtyard may have hosted rituals or gatherings tied to solar cycles. Some scholars argue that the entire valley was designed as a sacred landscape, where natural rock formations were integrated into religious meaning. Petra may have been not just a city of trade and power, but a city of the cosmos, reflecting the heavens in its stones. The beauty of Petra is not only in its monuments, but in the sandstone itself. The rock glows red, pink, and orange, striped with bands of purple and yellow. As the sun moves across the sky, the colors shift and shimmer, making the city feel alive. To the Nabataeans, this may not have been accidental. Carving temples into living stone that changed with the light could have been part of the sacred experience. Even now, visitors speak of Petra as less a ruin and more a place of enchantment, where the stone itself breathes. And yet, despite all we know, Petra refuses to fully explain itself. The Nabataeans remain elusive, their language only partly understood, their culture glimpsed through fragments. Who were these people who built a city out of cliffs and tamed the desert with water? How did they rise so suddenly to wealth and power? And why did they vanish so completely? Perhaps that is Petra's greatest power. It is not only a monument to human skill, but to human mystery. A city half hidden, half revealed, that invites us to wonder. To walk through Petra is to walk through layers of history and myth. The treasury, the monastery, the street of facades, each is both real and dreamlike, solid stone and yet somehow fragile. The silence of the desert amplifies the questions. Petra endures, but the people who made it are gone, leaving behind only the whisper of their chisels in the stone. In the end, Petra is a reminder that civilizations rise, flourish, and fade, but their creations can outlast them. It is a city carved into memory itself, a rose-red monument to ambition, beauty, and the mysteries of the past. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of Petra, there are countless more secrets waiting in the vault. and together we'll keep uncovering the wonders of the past. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, thanks for watching.